Hello, Mike Randall here with our series of monsters in a suitcase. In this case, we're going to be putting this one in a crate. Now, last year for my Halloween event, I had created these little creatures. I made them out of feather boas that I got at the dollar store and foam. And these little eyes, they came with a little pumpkin decorating kit. What you do is there's a little plastic piece here, and it had teeth and it had ears and other stuff. And what you do is you would just stick it into the pumpkin. Well, what I did is I hot glued this metal. I could actually stick it in the foam and give them eyes. And I was going to use this monster, one of these monsters, inside my crate. But the problem is these are too big to fit in this crate, and I won't be able to make them move. These are movable, and the way we do it, the kids actually get to make the little monsters move. And what I've done is I've put a hole in the bottom of this foam. This goes inside. And one of the reasons I did it this way instead of actually attaching it and gluing it in there is because I do a Dr. Seuss train, and I make those, I forget the name of them, those funny looking trees with a squiggly trunk. And what I'll do is I'll take the eyes off, I stick this on the top, and it creates the fuzzy trees. So I can use this for several different things. And this way it's not just made for one exact thing. So what I did is I made this out of PVC pipe. I cut it down and I heated it up and I melted it. Put two holes here on the ends. That allows me to do pull some strings. I tie a string on it. I put some hot glue around here, a little spiral hot glue. And what that does is it allows it to kind of fit tightly in here and holds onto the foam a little bit, so that when this is sitting on a rock or it's sitting on a log, this is stuck into the log or the rock, and then the kids get to pull a rope, and what they can do is they can make, oops, where's his eyes? So they can pull the rope and fix that, there we go. They pull a rope, and what ends up happening is this guy can just kind of wiggle back and forth. He doesn't really do much, he just kind of moves around a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it inside this crate. So let me put this guy aside, put him down there, and I'll show you the crate we're going to put him into. So we were going to put him into this crate, but the problem is he just fits in there and he can't do any movement, it's just a little tight. So we're making a smaller one. So what we'll do, put this guy away, we'll move this crate, and I'll show you how I made this. We're gonna make a purple one today, because that's what they had at the dollar store. And they come with this little knot tied on here. I'm gonna cut this little knot off. There we go. Now, in order to make the bigger ones, those took me 4 of these boas to fill it up. I don't think I'm gonna need 4 boas for the one I'm making today. It's a lot smaller. Let me show you the difference in size. So I cut those off because I don't want them. So we got this size versus this size. So he's gonna fit in here much nicer, and probably only take us about 2 boas to wrap it. So maybe I can make 2 of them for later. And this was something I was making. And he had a mouth on him, and he was going to be a puppet, and I just never got around to making him. I didn't want to cut more foam, round foam, because I knew I'd never get to making this guy. So I just cut out from some foam that I had earlier. I cut it out, stuck it in there just to fill it in a little bit. And then I'm going to glue his mouth shut. I don't think I necessarily have to do that, but I'm going to. You know what? Maybe I won't. Now that I think about it, I just started thinking, maybe if he can move his mouth, I can make a little... glad I didn't glue that in. I was going to glue that in. Matter of fact, let's do this. Because I don't put the feathers on the bottom. Gives them a flat spot. So it's real simple. All I do is I take my hot glue gun And I'm gonna actually start on the top. So kind of need a lot of hot glue on the top. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to kind of work this in a spiral. So I'm just going to take this, put this right in the middle. And I'm going to try to keep, oops, well, I'm going to cover that string. There's a string up there, it's no big deal. Once we start putting the feathers on here, once we start wrapping it, it's going to go pretty well. So I just put a little bit of hot glue and then move this around a little bit, stick that down. I don't need tons of hot glue. I don't have to put it all over the whole entire thing. I just kind of put it strategically. And I am grouping all this together, trying to keep my feathers so they're sticking up as I go along, make sure that mostly the string is on the bottom, not the feathers. There we go. Hey man, how's it going? I'm liking this idea with the mouth. Maybe I'll be able to incorporate it somehow. These other guys don't have mouths. All right, so that's one boa. Let's grab another boa. So that's where I left off. Down that piece of string. Now you'll notice I just licked my finger and got it wet. That allows me to do is I pushed on that string, my finger touched some of the glue, but it didn't stick. And if I tried pushing that down without putting a little spit on my fingers or water, you could dip your finger in water if you don't want to spit on it, it stops your finger from sticking to it. As you're creating stuff and you're using your tools, you realize like, hey, this would work better. And I'm thinking like, because I'm right-handed, maybe this is gonna work better. I don't know. It does feel a little awkward when I'm putting the feathers on. And I made these other ones back last September, so I don't remember how I originally went about gluing this stuff on. There we go. Somewhere. Put it right there. And getting a little bit of feathers on the hot glue gun. All right, it looks like we're on to our third boa. I didn't even use 4, I don't know. And it does look like I'm going to use that 4th boa. And find the end. And make sure to lay down a bunch of glue. There we go. Could talk, I guess I could kind of cut the feathers a little bit, but I'm not going to. Cut them around the mouth a little bit so you can see it. And now you can see some of the feathers have come off, and that's all right. Now what we'll do is we'll take a look at this and see how it's looking up close. Okay, so we've put together our little guy, we've glued it all together, but of course there's going to be some bare spots. And I just want to try to cover them up a little bit. So like you can see a little bare spot right here that the string is poking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some feathers from the boa, the leftover boa. Put a little bit of glue on there. Take this little feather and stick that right there like that. And cover it up. And I don't know, he's actually covered up pretty good. Okay, so like here's a spot like right here. It's got some string showing. It's not horrible, but we can always fix that. And what we'll do is we'll just take off some feathers from our boa. There, I do find it better to glue the feather and not to try to put the glue in there. It just gets in the way. So just a little bit of glue on this feather somewhere. Lick my finger, stick it on there. Glue won't stick to my finger if it's wet. All right, so there we have the end of my string. It came. There we go. What we'll do is we'll take some eyes from another one. I'm gonna stick it right in there just like that. And he's all like. So, all right, let's put him into the crate. Okay, this is either going to be the first and only attempt to do this, or it might be the first of several. We'll see what happens. All right, so I've taken some fishing line, and I'm going to put it back in my string bag. Got the whole labeling thing. So I got a bag full of odds and ends string and everything. And what my thought is here, I did this crate, the wood is a little rough. And so what I did was I cut myself a little, a piece of a base that's very smooth. It's the hardboard. I don't know the technical term for it. It's like kind of pressed cardboard. And I put that in there so that it's smooth. Because I think the idea is I'd like to take and have him in here, and what's going to happen is as you pull the string, he's going to go over here, and then he's going to come over this way, and it's going to look like he's kind of pacing back and forth, is the thought. And what I thought I would do is I've cut some string. I'm going to try to find the center of it. Fishing line, so you can't see it very well. So I found my center point, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Let's learn how to make a slip knot. Take your rope and make a loop like this. You have one rope on top, and it goes underneath like that. Now, you're going to hold it just like this. You're going to take this end and you're going to put it through this hole, grab it with your left hand, grab the loose end, and you're going to pull that just like that. Now when you tie it onto something, you can tighten it up or you can loosen it. So let's just say you needed to tie it to something temporarily. So you put that on, tighten that up, and then when you're done, you can just pull this rope, take it off, take both ends, and you no longer have a knot. And that's why it's called a slip knot. I'm going to do it really quick, just so you can see, boop, just like that, your slip knot. I'm going to take this nail, and I'm going to put it on here, tight, oops. Oh, you know what? I don't think that's going to work. I don't think a slip knot's going to work because you're going to pull one way and it's going to loosen up. So that's not going to work. So maybe I'm just going to be tying... Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a slip knot. I will do a slip knot. I will do that. Fishing line is very difficult to work with because not only is it, thin and you can't see it very well, but it's coiled up. So I'm going to put a half hitch in on this. Now we're going to learn how to make a half hitch. First, we're going to make our slip knot. We're going to put that on top of this stick here, and we're going to pull it tight. Now we want to put a half hitch on top. So a half hitch is just a loop. Just like when we made our slip knot, you're going to make a loop. And you're going to take this loop with the string on the bottom, you're just going to lift it up so the string is still on the bottom. You're going to pull that tight like that. So again, we're going to make this loop. Okay, make a loop. Strings on the bottom. Lift it straight up so that the bottom is still on the bottom, and you pull it tight. And that's a half hitch. Now I'm going to take this snail, snail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right down on my centerpiece here in the foam. I'm just going to poke it right in the foam. There we go. And I'm going to have one string one side, one string on the other side. So when I pull it, he's going to go that way. When I pull it, he's going to go that way. Put him in. Take this string out through this side here. Might end up drilling some holes in the sides here, but right now this is just a test to see if it's going to work the way I want it to. Kind of works the way I want it to. Maybe if I take this and put it on this side, and like I said, I might have to drill some holes. I just don't want to go drilling holes until I know where I kind of want them. It's not working the way I want it to. That's okay. It's all experimental. It won't have to be placed in a specific. There we go. So that works kind of the way I want it to. He's over here, now he's over here. That works great. So you put that on there and he's all like, ah. I'm gonna have to do something about his weight though. I might have to put like a heavy base on him. Maybe I'll have to cut a piece out for that. So that'll give him something to keep his weight. But that works great. That's exactly what I want him to do. I want him to just kind of be like, and he fell over again. I think that's what I'm going to try to do, is I'm going to cut a base. So we'll see you after I cut the base. I've cut this hard board here. I've cut this board. I rounded it out a little bit. I've drilled a hole in here for my nail, so I can put my nail through. I've got my hot glue gun going right now. And I have my drill with a little drill bit on it, because I think I'm going to drill a hole in the sides here. And I just kind of have to try to figure out where, generally, of where the hole is going to go. And I think it's going to go right about here. Drill out here. It just has to be low, and it's about in this spot here. Oops. The drill tip came off. Now this crate was given to me. It was free. I love free stuff. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this base onto here. Take the nail out. I guess I get this face right about there, so.
There we go.
Put our nail in there. it's gonna work. Alright, so that's glued in there. Now he's got a little weight in the back side. And this is going to be the tricky part. Tricky. Putting this string through the hole I just drilled. There we go. Oh, maybe not. Yeah. I don't have good light. Oh, there we go. That put together now. All right, let's see how this works. That works very good. Now I just gotta fix his eyes. There we go. Nice. So let me show you what we got here. We have our little monster in a crate. I think he looks great. I can't wait to have the kids play with it. All right, well, I hope this inspires you guys to do something fun. So for $4, it cost me $4 for the boa. The foam was free. This crate was free, and so just have fun creating stuff. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. All right, come on, little guy.